Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. You know that music. It means we've got the one and only taxman Bob Loeser here in the house. Always delighted to have him come by, talk to us about what's happening on the taxes front. Unbelievable, my friend. We are in the, is it the middle? Yeah, it's the 5th month. It just feels like the 6th month.
Yo, what's happening, Kevin?
What's up? We're in the middle of the second quarter, though, right?
It's unbelievable how yesterday, May 15th, was the deadline for the franchise, which sort of put the old year's taxes in arrears and in our rearview mirror. Unless, of course, you've filed extensions and have procrastinated like you have for so many other years.
Wait a minute.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying you out there, the individual.
Hey, I resemble that statement. So absolutely. So it's unbelievable. It is hard to believe that it's gone by. This year's gone by so fast. So in addition to that franchise tax, which, frankly, if you're hearing this now and you didn't take appropriate action, you may be in a little bit of trouble. What other things should be on people's radar screen right now?
Well, what's interesting, particularly with the state of Texas now, is that they're starting to do exactly what I had mentioned about 8-9 months ago, and that is starting to look at sales tax audits.
Yes.
And what they do with sales tax audits is they will audit you for a 4-year period going back. And so it may start, let's just say June of 2009 through June of 2012.
Yeah.
All right. And what they'll ask you for is all your invoices, making sure that either if you were a business that was mandated to collect sales tax that you did, or if you have a sales tax exempt certificate, if you're dealing with selling business to a Dell or a major company that has an exempt certificate because they're turning around and sending it on to the end user and they charge the tax on it, you have to provide those tax exempt certificates also to show the state how you calculated your sales tax for that month or quarter or year, depending upon how frequent you are required to file those reports.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, companies out there that should have a tax permit from their local governments.
Well, I mean, it goes...
What's the real guidelines about that? I know most businesses that probably should don't have such.
Well, I mean, if you're manufacturing, if you're selling widgets, if you're selling clothing, if you've got a store, then that's, of course, mandated. If you've got a consulting type of business, depending upon the type of consulting, and that you just have to go to the state website or you call and say, hey, I'm a interior designer. What portion of my fees are taxable and what portion aren't? And they'll go through and give you the highlighted sections of the state code. Says under section 90.235, you're not mandated if you're doing consulting where you're telling them how they should design a room or an office or whatnot. But if you're actually billing them for the 2 couches and 3 desks, then those 2 couches and 3 desks have to have sales tax associated.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so and unfortunately, the only way you're going to find out whether or not what you have is taxable or required to be mandated under this is if you talk to a tax professional, talk to someone who deals with these type of things.
Or in a lot of instances, somebody will ask me and I'll say, you know what, for your business, I don't know, but here's the number to call or here's the website. Go on and ask them, if I charge for this, is it taxable? Yeah. And then we'll mandate. For example, my services as a professional aren't, but if I'm selling computer software, then those portions are. And I do have to charge the computer aspect of, if I'm charging for computer time or computer, software or whatever the case may be, then it's mandated that I collect the sales tax.
Yes, but when you call, use a public phone. Don't use a cell phone, and be anonymous or use a pseudonym when you call.
Make sure it's not traceable.
That's right. Make sure it's not traceable, and don't use your real name. Don't even use your brother-in-law's name if you don't like him. Just be careful.
And certainly don't say you're with the Texas Tea Party Patriots.
Oh, yes, that's right. Thank you, Sigmund. That in particular is something you don't want to use in any your language talking to any government tax entity these days. How's that for a story, by the way?
That is...
And Watergate was a big deal, but this, not so much.
Well, if you close both eyes, you don't see what's going on around you.
Oh. Ooh, touche. Yeah, see, that's you got those drums. That would have been a great time for the drums. The ba-dum-bum. But anyway,
we're going to ask our producer to provide those in the future. The ba-dum-bum-bum.
Yeah, we have them somewhere. But but that's exactly right. And and that's an interesting thing because I do like to talk to you a little bit about politics. Let's wrap up the remaining of our time doing that. Except I do want to mention how we get people can get in touch with you. Easy, taxmanbob@pdq.net. taxmanbob@pdq.net. Your number?
713-953-1272.
Definitely need to contact him about any of your tax questions. But what about that? So first of all, you've got this incredible scandal going on where the IRS is targeting conservative organizations. Then you've got the Justice Department actually wiretapping journalists,
right,
monitoring their stories. Apparently, the Justice Department claiming they're not monitoring the conversations, but we got to take their word for it.
Right.
What's up with that? What do you think about that?
Well, it's the old 1984 all over again, huh?
Benghazi. You got people who were over, in Libya saying we were told by the State Department to say these things, even though they weren't true.
Well, we only removed 2 words out of the statement that was made, okay? But the first statement shows a page and a half long, and the second statement shows 1 paragraph. So you tell me, simple-minded individual, whether you're an 11th grader, a 4th grader, or a graduate of MIT, how many words did they actually change out of this?
Well, the words were really big in the second document. But yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable what's going on. It is almost sci-fi. Imagine if a Republican were doing this. Just imagine.
Well, he actually wouldn't be on the face of this earth any longer. Yeah. Because they would have tied him to an 18-wheeler and dragged him behind the 18-wheeler.
Oh, yeah. He would have been impeached by his activities this first term. And I'm like going, hallelujah, because, frankly, the guys like Darrell Issa, they don't have the intestinal fortitude to actually go through impeachment. And I'm tired of hearing that there's not enough legs to do it in the Senate. Let them be preoccupied with this for the rest of his term. Let him go into the next election cycle trying to get enough Democrats in the House with that news line every single day. Impeachment trials, impeachment trials, impeachment trials. Yep. And I say have separate articles of impeachment for these 3 areas. And why don't we go ahead and throw in Fast and Furious? That actually led to the loss of U.S. government official lives.
In Mexico.
Not to mention hundreds of Mexicans, with one Mexican government official saying, you know what, this is like an act of war by the U.S. against Mexico.
Well, I actually think that the new strain of Kool-Aid that they've been sending out isn't working as well, and people are opening up their eyes finally going, take me to your leader? Wait a minute.
Oh, man, that was good. You made me choke. Go ahead there, Sigmund.
I got to ask about Eric Holder. How is he still in office at this point? How is that man still in that position?
Mirrors.
Mirrors, smoking mirrors. Ignore the man behind the curtain, right? As you like to say? Yeah.
Yes.
He can't even say it.
I can't. I'm so choked like you were.
He's involved.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. The great Oz. Obama has spoken.
That's right.
He's involved in almost every one of these scandals in some way or another.
Yeah. Well, what's amazing to me, all the scandals that he was involved in back in the Clinton administration as a deputy assistant attorney general. How in the heck did he get approved attorney general the first time? He was involved in so many scandals in the first in the first administration. He served, as a deputy assistant. I'm like, how's it possible?
Between him and his press secretary that can actually talk out of 3 sides of his mouth at the same time and speak too. It's amazing.
There you go.
He got it.
Finally.
We want to thank Sigmund, our producer, for that.
And of course,
he went to the archives.
One of those sites is his derriere. But anyway, I am outraged. This is going south fast, but we had fun with our friend, the one and only Bob Loeser. Love talking to you about politics, but we also need to talk about the serious tax stuff that affects the individual out there. You need to be serious about this stuff because apparently the government's going to get real serious with you. Right. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
And again, taxmanbob@pdq.net, your number.
713-953-1272. Always welcome new opportunities of clients.
We look forward with great anticipation for every time you join us. Thank you. All right, when we come back, more for you. You're listening to The Price of Business. Remember to check us out. New and improved coming out soon, usdailyreview.com. Make sure you're there to check it out. I'm Kevin Price. This is The Price of Business.
19 for me. 'Cause I'm the tax man. Yeah.